make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Welcome back, everyone. I am here with the wonderful Janis Isaman. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I am doing very well. How about yourself?
I have no complaints. But I wanted to have you on. I'm so glad that you're here because I think what you're doing is so important. And so I want to hear all about trauma-sensitive movement, what that is and how you got into it, and you know who it's for, and really what it is and why it exists.
That's a lot of questions.
A lot of questions.
In a really short little window there. So trauma-sensitive movement is a derivation of a certification that I have called Trauma-Centered Trauma-Sensitive Yoga. So that's like a huge mouthful. But essentially, if you have ever read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, that's written by Bessel Kolk, and he has an institute 20 some years ago. He encountered a guy named David Emerson, and Bessel was he's a huge proponent of the idea that trauma is not about your brain. It's not about the story. It's not about cognitive information. And I mean, the man is a psychiatrist who works with the brain. So he's very aware that trauma integration, healing, emotional work is coming from the body up. So the number that I keep hearing is about 80% of our experiences are actually from the body up. So although we go to therapy and we do brain down, a lot of your experiences are coming from your body. So he was really interested in David's approach, which was love that.
Can I help you?
Yes.
Our camera operator is in the shot. Okay, sorry.
That's amazing. So David had a yoga approach, and so the beginning of that seed began, and here we are, fast forward, where it's a fully developed approach because it came initially through Bessel's Institute. It has always been research based. So what we know is actually super significant. So there was I think it was in 2023, there was a study that was published that said that it is as effective as cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, this was studies are always on like a really small group of people with really specific circumstances, but it's really exciting because we now have the first evidence-based study on yoga saying this is actually effective for complex trauma needs. So who's it for? It's actually at this point, it's for everybody, because part of it is just an approach of how we teach, how we instruct. It's choice-based. We've taken out a lot of the things that people find really difficult in traditional yoga environments. When I teach to people the first 15 minutes or so, they find it really strange because I'm not really telling people what to do. We're not achieving things. We're not working towards kind of really specific instructions that are move your thumb 10 degrees to the ceiling to keep it safe, things like that. But then I find people really get into the groove of, when we're moving, we have this choice. We are able to use that to take effective action. We are independent agents over our own body as opposed to listening to what the instructor says. And so I haven't ever met a person, whether they self-identify with trauma or not, that does not really resonate with this approach. So what you're hearing in my title is the word movement as opposed to yoga. And that's because I apply those same evidence-based principles to every movement that I teach. And that does include Pilates and a ball technique and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh my gosh. Are you constantly learning yourself? I assume.
Oh, yes. Yes. Actually, so I have multiple different trauma designations. And with the exception of one of them, the core piece of that, every single one of those, is to do the work yourself. And so, hundreds and hundreds of hours of that work myself. And then I literally wake up in the morning and do a daily practice every day. So there is no day where I'm not my own best experiment and my own best learner. And I'm also somebody who's taking continuous education because this field is growing quickly and changing fast. So yes.
When did this become part of your everyday life that you like? How did you discover it?
I mean, that's a long circuitous pathway. So again, I'll kind of keep it short, but I essentially became what I needed. And that started off with a physical injury. So that was almost 20 years ago at this point. And I fixed my body, but there was still kind of things that didn't make sense with my body, with my experiences, with what was happening to me. And eventually it came to the surface that it was trauma. And I actually arrived there because when I was doing work with clients, this was in what we would call traditional mind body disciplines that included some body work. Clients would start having these huge emotional responses and sometimes end up crying and saying, I don't know why I'm telling you this, things like that. And so I actually went down the hallway I had a friend who was a therapist who worked down the hallway for me. So I went down the hallway and I was like, what do I do with this? And so he directed me towards, actually, I didn't move in this direction, but it was an adjunct to the direction that he pointed me in. There's a therapy called Hakomi therapy, and it is a mind body discipline for trauma. So, the challenge was at that time, all of these trainings were far away, kind of residential things. And so I was like, okay, I hear what you're saying. I don't know what to do about it. And so then just through the magic of time and the internet and different events in my life, I was able to move forward with some of those trainings.
Wow. Speaking of far away, do you do stuff virtually too, or is it all at your studio? Because you have a studio that's very exciting, I imagine, to have that. So can you talk about like what you offer?
Yeah, so I have a home base in Calgary in Canada, and if you happen to be local to me, you can come in. If you don't happen to be local to me, which is the entire rest of the world, like many people, I actually do full virtual services. So the clinical component of this kind of work is about 10 weeks. So it's not something where it's like personal training. I do have clients that have seen me for years and years. We can take these principles and expand them out and blow them out for years. But if you really are just like, how do I get my body to be a more integrated part of my experience, or I'm finding that I'm triggered and I don't know what to do, or I kind of am not connected to my body, we can do this quickly. So somewhere between 3 and 10 weeks for a lot of people gives them that skill set, a little bit of practice. They can take it and run with it. And I can do it on the internet.
What do you get from helping people this way? This has to be such rewarding work.
It is the best ever. Yeah. Like literally ever. I mean, this is a career change for me, and I loved my old career. I worked in the media. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was amazing. And I subsequently work in a job that blows my mind every day because I literally always have people that want to be there. It's literally life-changing, and not in kind of that figurative way where they bought a car or they have that one moment. It brings me so much confidence in what I do because people tell me, and I believe it to be true, that they can never think the same way about their body. They have information, education, awareness, and tools that just mean that you cannot possibly go back to how things were before. And it's just such a, I can't even put words to it. I'm just like, it's amazing because I really get the gift of being able to watch people go through this every single day. It's so cool.
What do you want people to take away from you speaking today and just the work that you're doing? You're out there talking, you're on other podcasts talking. I love that you're promoting this. I worked for an arts and health nonprofit for a long time, and one of the things we brought into adult patients was yoga and movement, and the way that like people who couldn't get out of bed, who were still doing it in their bed or in a chair, just that movement, small movement, changed their entire day. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, I do presentations to therapists, and I go into their office and I speak because a lot of therapists are aware that this is really a core component of helping clients get better. But again, a lot of the information it's either newer or it's a specialized component, or they don't know. And so one of the things that I always say is there is no such thing as amazing mental health when you don't move your body. And I have 100% buy-in 100% of the time from therapists. They all agree. And so I think that you don't need to have kind of self-identified PTSD. You don't need to have diagnostics. It's the idea of, for a lot of people, the exercise model that we've been given kind of culturally of go to the gym and do your 21-day challenge and lose weight and get results. And it's not working for a lot of people. So we have abysmal numbers on exercise in our culture. They're really terrible. And you can look in Canada, you can look in the United States. They're bad. We do not walk enough. We do not exercise enough. We just straight up don't. There's no getting around it. And so I'm really a big proponent of let's add movement. It doesn't need to look like an exercise program. It doesn't need to look like anything that you've ever been taught in school or at the gym. Find a way to move your body, because your mental health and your experience as a human being will change. And that's it's not a sales pitch. It's not an advertisement for anything. It's just a fact of our human biology. And every therapist that I say that to completely agrees. So if you asked your therapist tomorrow, they would agree. So I really feel like it's part of my mission to just help people find an avenue. It doesn't have to be yoga. I teach like 7 different techniques, and it doesn't even have to be one of those. It's just, how do we find freedom to move and to have at least some enjoyment of that? And a lot of people, that's a foreign concept.
Yeah. I have a dog that forces me to do that daily.
Yeah.
It's a good way to force yourself to do it. Is get a dog that needs to be outside all the time.
How
can people connect? Huge. Yeah. And it's my midday, like take the dog on a walk, get some sun, and it helps you get over that slump. How can people best connect with you and learn more about you and follow you?
My website is My Body Couture, which is 3 words. First word is my, M-Y. Second word is body, B-O-D-Y. Third word is couture, C-O-U-T-U-R-E. So that's my homepage. And from there, you can check out the different social media sites. If I'm active on the site, it'll be at /My Body Couture. I'm not active on all of them. But if you find me there, you can check out some of my content. I'm not like the hugest poster on there, but I am really open to direct messages. So I invite anybody to kind of message me, start a conversation. That's how I really connect with people, is talking.
Perfect. And that's why you're here.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
Perfect. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me.
We will be right back after this, everyone.
In this world of innovation, would you rather have an old, outdated flip phone or a brand new iPhone? A horse and buggy carriage or the newest luxury hybrid? A dial-up router with your AOL account or a super fast Wi-Fi hotspot? With nutrition, what you have been using or taking up until now hasn't been bad. There's just something newer. We all appreciate advancements in science and technology. In the same way we seek the best and newest in our electronics, vehicles, and everyday conveniences, wouldn't you also want the best technology and newest innovation for your nutrition and supplementation? At the time, you may have had the best from what was out there and available. Now, there is something better and newer, more bioavailable, more convenient, better tasting, faster acting. It literally is the equivalent to getting an IV full of high-tech nutrients right into your bloodstream, without the needle, without the appointment, without being attached to anything for a specific length of time. Simply pop these tasty, all-natural lozenges into your mouth and savor as they instantly start to absorb into your bloodstream through your mucous membranes. That's it. And with the added benefit of negative ions, in other words, energy, there isn't anything else out there on the market like it. Now is the time to switch to the next improvement and innovation in health and nutrition. It's time for advancement. It's time for better. It's time for APL Go and our rapid botanical DNA drops.
Hi, everyone. We're back. The commercial that you just saw is for these. There are many different flavors of them. I use them every day. And what I love most about them is that they taste good. Because sometimes, there's that like fake flavor. And these are actually really good. And the guy who got me onto these is going to be on next week to talk all about them. So if you have questions about them, if you've been seeing the commercials, write in, let us know, comment on any show if you have questions for him about these, and we'll talk to him next week when he's here. Hey, one day Rosie O'Donnell is going to be on this show, and until then, we're just going to keep showing Rosie stuff in our plea to get her here. And so today's Rosie memorabilia moment, I need a little logo. I'm going to design a little logo for this, is the sheet music to the Grease musical that she was in 1994 to 1995. Thank you, eBay, for that. So there you go. It's our Rosie memorabilia. One day she'll sign this. All right. Hey, thanks to everyone who sponsors this show, who supports this show, whether it's donations, which you can do at, here we go, new graphics, buymeacoffee.com/make-your-day-richer. You can go there and support the show. The link is actually also in the comments and in the show notes. Please support the show so we can continue to bring you great people like Janis. And tomorrow we have another great show with the Black Butterfly Goddess. She was supposed to be here a couple of weeks ago, but schedules got weird. And so she's going to be here tomorrow with an amazing story. You are not going to want to miss that show tomorrow morning. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you all. We are closing in on 9,000 views, and it blows my mind every day. So keep watching the show, keep sharing it, keep supporting. I love it. And I love you. Go do something good for yourself today and for someone else. I love you. Again, goodbye. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.